Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Purple People podcast. My name is Kyle West, and alongside me, as always, Adam Carlson. How you doing today, Adam?
Doing good, doing good. Hi there, everyone. Welcome to the show. We are here to discuss the Minnesota Vikings Week 1 game, do a little preview of Week 2, bring in some winners and losers, and have some fun along the way. Are you here with me, Kyle?
Oh yeah, I'm ready to go. Excited after that victory we pulled out in overtime.
Oh, that was a heart stopper there. I tell you, I'm lucky I don't have a heart condition because that one could have done me in.
I think we could be in for a lot of that this season. Narrow finishes where we either just pull them off or, don't quite pick up the win.
This game felt so familiar from last year, except last year we were on the other side of it. I think that's why I was so just down
Yeah,
right at the very end there.
I wanna bring that up here after we get done with our winners and losers. So let's go ahead and let's jump on to our winner and losers for the week here.
All right, let's be honest. There were two clear-cut winners this week, and I'm going to take one of them, maybe one of the most obvious, and that's rookie kicker Blair Walsh. That's my winner. The kid came through in the clutch, made two huge field goals, one really long, and going into this game, a lot of questions were put on him about his ability to kick accurately and to kick it when the game was on the line. And I got to tell you, he quieted me down a bit. Who do you have for your winner?
My winner, I got the other obvious one, Adrian Peterson. How could you not name him a winner for this week? He comes back after major knee surgery and runs for 84 yards and 2 touchdowns. He said he was going to score, and he did. So it's a big deal to have him back and playing at a pretty decent level for the team so soon after that knee surgery.
Definitely. That brings us into our losers. Now, we hate naming losers because we hope we don't ever have to name one. I hope there's a week where I can say, and our loser is, well, we don't have one. But this week, my loser, Latroy Guion.
Latroy,
One tackle. One tackle and some key penalties. I gotta name him loser.
yeah, you're right. I like Latroy. I want to see him do good, but this week not so hot. He'll bounce back though.
I hope so.
First game of the season. Uh,
I hope he's not there in my loser spot in week 2.
my loser, I have our offensive coordinator Bill Musgrave for the first half of the game and even into the second half. I don't know what he's thinking from time to time. He tries to be too creative. I just get that feeling. And I don't know if you can hear that. There's someone using a weed whacker right outside my window. So hopefully that
No, I don't hear that at all, actually.
hopefully that don't pick up on the podcast this week. But anyway, he tries to get too creative, and they need to keep this offense simple. Get the ball into Adrian Peterson's hands and Percy Harvin, and don't outthink yourself. And there were times where it looked like he was trying to outthink the other team.
Right. Right. So let's go into the game recap. Now, this game, I don't know what to say. The picture that I have on my private page, which I'll put on the podcast page, it's my face, my reaction after the game, and I think that says it all. So you guys will have to check that out. But also, I don't know what to say. I'm not used to this.
Well,
It's just so strange to me, I guess.
winning.
Yeah, being on the winning side of a game like that. Last year we were crushed so many times and let down so many times, having a lead going into the fourth and just pooping it away.
Well, I tell you what, Adam, didn't you get the feeling when Gabbert threw that touchdown pass at the end of the game that it was going to be over? That, oh my gosh, we are just going to completely repeat what happened last season. Did you get that same feeling like what I did? And
I hate to admit it, but the thought and the feeling both went through me.
yeah, me too. And I know I'm pretty active on our Twitter, and I was seeing what other people were tweeting out at that time, and it was the exact same reaction, and rightfully so. But
Right.
everyone was thinking the same thing. That's it. This is going to be identical to last year. And it was even going so far as people were already saying, well, how much longer is Leslie Frazier going to have?
Wow.
Yeah, people were, calling him out saying that he needed to go already after one game. And
Wow.
but it was so nice to see this team rally from behind and pick up the win when it looked like they were going to blow another lead.
I got a question for you, Kyle.
Okay, what's that?
Do you think Ryan Longwell could have made that 55-yarder?
Uh, Probably because I don't think he was in that steep of a decline just yet. It would have been narrow and it would have been tough for him, but I think he would have probably made it.
Yeah, because he doesn't have the leg strength the young Blair Walsh has, that's for sure.
He doesn't, but he understands game time, big time game situations, and I don't know. I think he probably would have made it.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm putting. I don't know. I'm just really excited about Blair Walsh. I loved the pick when he got picked. I was really curious when Longwell was cut because I thought they'd keep two kickers on for at least a year or two to help Blair Walsh learn. And when he was cut, I was really curious why they were just going with a rookie kicker. But he sure proved me wrong.
Well, he's proved how valuable he is on kickoffs and on field goals and whatnot. I'm glad to see that he didn't have a single miss in this game for his field goals, and his kickoffs were all, clear in the back of the end zone where they should be. And yeah, that's definitely good. I like what I'm seeing from Walsh so far.
Definitely. And I also was really hesitant to see Adrian Peterson used in the capacity he was in. But after seeing the way he was running and the way he seemed like he was feeling, I have no questions anymore. He was running like the Adrian Peterson of old already.
Well, I wouldn't say of the old just yet. There were a couple of times where it looked like he stumbled, and he didn't quite have that burst when he got into the open field. You'll see that come back hopefully midway through the season. It's going to take him a little bit of time before he gets that back, but for the most part, I mean, he was making cuts. He was planning on that knee. He looked, he looked like he was ready to play in week one. So. And he's been saying this all along that he was going to score, he was going to play, and he was going to score in week one of the regular season. And a lot of people doubted him. And you know what? He went out there and he proved everyone wrong.
Well, how many players can suffer the kind of injury that he had and miss one game?
Not too many.
One game.
Yeah, one game. That's it.
That's unbelievable. Absolutely astounding.
Like I said,
But let's
like I said on the Facebook group, if Calvin Johnson is Megatron, well, Adrian Peterson's got to be Optimus Prime. Because there is no way that he is human. I mean, that dude he's a machine on the field. So there's another nickname for Adrian. I'm just gonna start calling him, Optimus.
well, there's one other thing you can call him now after the last game.
What's that?
Go ahead and tell us.
I
You don't remember? The all-time leading rusher in Minnesota Vikings history.
Oh yeah, you're right. Boy, I was bad at that segue, wasn't I?
Led you right into it too.
Yep, and I forgot all about it, even though I'm looking right at it in my notes here. Yeah, Adrian Peterson beat Robert Smith as the Minnesota Vikings all-time leader in rushing yards. So congratulations. That had to be a big deal for him personally to come back after that knee surgery, and he gets 2 touchdowns, and he breaks the Vikings record like that, and just an all-around good game for him.
It's a big deal for him. It's a big deal for the franchise. During the game, they put Robert Smith up on the screen, and they had a video message that he had recorded for Adrian, congratulating him. And I think that was awesome and classy, and it was a great thing to do, especially at home. Loved it.
It is really cool because Robert Smith doesn't do a lot of media appearances. You don't hear a lot
No,
from him. So to have him do that, that's something special for the Vikings fans. I actually wish we could have seen that at home.
I do too. I would have liked to have
Yeah,
seen that.
hopefully maybe the Vikings will put it up on their website.
Now, you know who else also had a very good game that you're not hearing a ton about? Is quarterback Christian Ponder.
Yeah, he came out flat in the first half, but the whole team was a little flat in that first half. But in the second, he came out and he put the team on his back and he said, "We're gonna go out there and we're gonna do what's needed and we're gonna score." And you've seen some receivers, Devin Aromashadu stepping up and making plays,
Yep.
and Ponder was he didn't look like he was thinking about it. And
No.
when he doesn't think about it, that's when he's at his best. And that was why I put Bill Musgrave, as my loser for the week. Is it seems to be that when this team tries to think about it, they overthink what's going on. They need to just get out there and play. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean, totally. And I think Christian Ponder's performance is going to get knocked a bit because he didn't throw a touchdown. But you got to look at what he did to get the team in position to score.
Hmm.
It's not all about getting him passing the ball in. It's about the team getting them in position to score and not making a ton of mistakes.
Yeah,
When you don't throw any touchdowns, you don't throw interceptions, but you manage the ball well. He still passed for 270 yards. Quarterback rating of 105.5. Best in the NFC North, by the way. You can't be wrong with that. That's a sign that he clearly has matured, at least for this game. I'm not going to speak for the rest of the season or his career, but I liked what I saw from him in this game as far as his maturity, his ability to stay in the pocket. He only took 2 sacks, so that wasn't so bad on the offensive line. I was pleased with what I saw.
what do you think of Matt Khalil blocking that extra point like that?
The guy can do everything, man.
Yeah,
He can.
I know. That was the first time since Ray Edwards in 2008, I believe, that a point has been blocked like that. And it was Matt Khalil, proving that he's an all around great athlete and a great pick by the Minnesota Vikings.
And there was a lot of debate coming into this game about who should have been the pick for the Vikings, whether it should have been Justin Blackman or whether it should have been Matt Khalil. Well, Blackman didn't really show up until that 2 point conversion. He should have had that touchdown that Gabbert had him wide open on,
Hmm.
but he overthrew. I'm going to say the jury's still out on Blackman for me. I'm not a Blackman believer, and I'm really glad the Vikings picked Khalil. But I don't know. I'm not sure if Blackman's going to develop into what people say he's going to be.
Khalil was the surefire pick. You knew basically without a shadow of a doubt what you were going to get from Matt. And so that's why I was so adamant about them picking him. Percy Harvin, let's talk a little bit about Percy. Didn't he really show that the our offense needs to run through two players on this team, Adrian Peterson and Percy Harvin? Minnesota,
Definitely.
just get the ball into his hands. I don't.
It got to the point where I was watching the game with some friends, and I turned to my other friend there, who was the other Minnesota Vikings fan in a room full of Packers fans, and I said they're finally using Percy Harvin as a number one,
Hmm.
and that came late in the game. I think it was like the third quarter,
Yeah,
and I would have liked to have seen them using that sort of offense earlier rather than trying to get too fancy with the two tight end sets and weird pick blocking schemes and all. No, just keep it simple for the young team. Let them grow. Let them develop together.
yeah. Like I say, I don't understand what Bill Musgrave does. What the game plan was for the first half of the game, but just get the ball to Percy. I mean, that's the reason why he was frustrated with the team earlier on in the year and, requested a trade and all that other jazz. He wants the ball because he's one of the best offensive players that we have. And even when Jerome Simpson comes back, Percy's going to be the guy that you're going to want to get the ball to first and foremost.
Yes.
The passing game is going to run through him, and then that's going to open things up for, like you've seen in the end half of this game, Jerome Simpson or Devin Aromashadu or Michael Jenkins or whoever you want to say. They're going to be more open because the defenses are going to dictate to where Percy is on the field.
I gotta admit, when they were down to that last 20 seconds after after the last Jaguars touchdown, and the big clutch catches came up and the crisp passes, I just looked at my Viking friend buddy, and it was a completely different team to me. I actually saw people running routes, getting open, saw the quarterback looking around, staying in the pocket. It was just completely different, and I loved it.
Like I said in the schedule release show, that's going to be the story of our season. There are going to be times where we're going to come out and we're just going to look awful. There will be other times though that we will look really competent and surprisingly good, and it's going to be frustrating as a fan to watch this season unfold a little bit because you're never going to know which team is going to show up from week to week or sometimes quarter to quarter. This could change.
It could. Did you see who was splitting the catches on the kick returns with Percy Harvin?
I
Did you happen to notice that?
Marcus Sherrills, wasn't it?
No. Marcus Sherrills handled the punts.
He was on the punts. Who was? I guess I.
It was Matt Asiata handling some kick returns.
Oh yeah, yeah, I did actually read that after the game was over.
I didn't expect to see him used in that capacity, but he did fairly well.
Well, it's all about finding ways to get the ball into players' hands like that. So why not? Let's see what he can do.
Definitely. Now let's take a look at the defensive side of the ball. Who do you think really stood out?
Brian Robinson. I he
Brian Robinson looked good to you?
Oh yeah, he was my guy that he looked good. He looks like he is gonna have a season for the record books.
Yeah, he didn't quite get a sack, but he got pressure. He made some tackles. He even defended a pass. So
Say it.
he was a complete game for him, really.
Yeah, he actually had more of a complete game than what Jared Allen did, I think.
Now, on defense, the guy that stood out to me 100% was Chad Greenway. I understand that when you're watching a game, you don't really see Chad Greenway and think, oh, well, he had a fantastic game. The guy had 9 tackles, led the team. He had 4 assisted tackles, tied for the lead there. He defended 2 passes, tied for the lead there. This defense is Chad Greenway's defense. He is the heart.
Chad Greenway is quietly awesome for the Minnesota Vikings. And what I mean by that is like what you said uh, earlier here. He is not a player that flashes on television,
No.
but he does all the little things, all the little fundamentals correct. Now, earlier in the game, that the first half, the whole team looked flat and they came out
Yeah.
flat. But it was the tail of the second half where I think Greenway came out and played at a high level for us.
When he came out and he defended at least the one pass at the very end, where he batted the ball to the ground, that would have been a first down, that would have kept the chains moving. I knew right then. I said, Chad Greenway's the man.
That's a big deal. That's what Leslie Frazier is talking about on needing a handful of really big plays from key players on the team that changed the outcome of the game. And that
That was one of
that was one of them. That is what we want to see from this team. And that speaks well to what Frazier is trying to implement because that means they're buying into him as a head coach and they're buying into his philosophies and his system.
That's true. Even Jasper Brinkley had a decent game.
Yeah.
Nothing spectacular. A good thing is, this is going to sound weird, but when you're a defensive player, sometimes it's better if the announcers never say your name.
Yeah. Yeah, because that means you're not screwing up.
Exactly. But there were times when Chris Cook, who a lot of people think is a shutdown corner, but he's still learning, he had that pass at the very end where Cecil Shorts got past him.
Cecil.
One-on-one coverage. Cecil Shorts is speedy. That man's got wheels.
I just like that guy's name. Cecil Short.
Cecil Shorts the third. But people underestimate Blaine Gabbert's arm power. He can throw a football pretty far. One-on-one coverage. I understand Cook didn't cover it as well as he should have, and that's something he will learn. But overall, I wasn't disappointed with Cook's play. He even got in and got a sack, I believe.
Yes, he did. I got a question here for you. After watching this week 1 game against the Jaguars, how comfortable are you with your 7-win prediction for the Vikings moving forward?
You know, I thought that the Vikings would have won this game a little more handily.
Mm-hmm.
But since they came out so flat in the first quarter, and if they can keep the momentum, or at least some of the momentum they had from the second half, I'm going to feel a lot better about this team. So I'm still sticking with 6 or 7. I'll stay with 7.
I'm
Why are you not feeling so good?
No, I'm still sticking right now with my 7-win prediction too. This is just going to be something I think we'll try to check on through the season. You know how close we are to the win-loss record, and if we feel like we want to move things up or down. But no, I'm still staying put with my 7 wins.
I moved down a little bit. I'm at like 6 point, I'd say 7 right now. But
6.5.
yeah, the decimals are going to shrink a little bit here, but or maybe grow. I don't know after each game, but
Just
we'll have to wait and see.
just wait until Jerome Simpson comes back. It's going to be a big deal. The team won't look so flat offensively when you've got Jerome out there because who are they going to cover? I mean, Percy or Jerome, or then you got Adrian coming up the middle, or Toby coming up the middle, or Kyle Rudolph have looked pretty good
Right.
in the passing game. So it's going to be you're going to have more people to cover, and defenses are going to have to spend a little bit more time with the Minnesota Vikings.
A lot of people were disappointed this game because they didn't see the impact of John Carlson. Now they're using John Carlson the way I thought they were going to. He's out there. He's going to be doing a lot more blocking than pass catching. But when he does go for a pass, it will be something the defense will have to pay attention to because he can catch a football and he can run with it. Sure, overall, yes, he didn't quite get used a lot in this first game, but keep an eye on him because they will.
And he's also got to learn this offense. You got to remember that he missed a lot of time when he was hurt. So it's not fair to him to expect him to come out and to have a bunch of catches for a bunch of yards when he's really a ways behind some of the other tight ends on this roster.
Right, and that's why you saw Red Ellison in there a little bit more and other things like that. I'm sure that Carlson will see the field more and he will have more plays where he makes impact. But as of now, be patient. They knew what they were doing when they picked him up. Don't worry about it.
So let's do our look forward here for the September 16th game against the Indianapolis Colts.
All right.
Andrew Luck. He looked pretty good. He looked like what you would expect, and I think he's going to. It's going to be a test for Minnesota, especially our
You,
secondary.
you know who he didn't look like though was RG3.
Yeah, there's one game. Are you ready to flip flop on your win or loss for that one, Adam?
That's a tough one. I don't know. I didn't expect him to come out like that. We'll have to wait and
You,
see.
you had a win
But
for that one, didn't you?
oh, of course.
See, go back and listen to it. I said that we were going to lose and that RG3 was going to tear us a new one, and I still got to stick by that.
You might be right. You might be right. But we'll have to wait and see.
I don't want to be right, but I still think
You don't want to be right.
no, I don't, but I still think that's what's going to happen.
But what I saw from the Colts was I saw exactly, well, against the Bears,
Can I
I saw exactly what I thought I was going to see. I thought I was going to see a subpar defense, an offense that could score some points, but probably wouldn't score a ton. So I'm saying this is still a winnable game. I'm sticking with 2-0. I'm sticking with my Vikings. Sticking. Stick.
Did you just quote Denny Green? D-
Uh, no.
are you sure about that? Because you said that they are who you thought they are. Hopefully,
Uh,
hopefully when we play the Colts, we're not saying they are who we thought they are, and we let them off the hook.
so
But
you're still feeling good about this week's game?
yeah, I still think we'll win.
You think you're going to have a heart attack this game like the last one?
Probably, but you know what? We're gonna have a heart attack 16 times this season because every game is gonna be a heart attack.
Well, let's be honest. This game's going to be more stressful on the Vikings secondary than it will be on the front seven. I'm not afraid of Donald Brown as a running back. He doesn't intimidate me at all. You're going to see Minnesota playing back into coverage a whole lot more, making Andrew Luck beat them. And I would love to see Minnesota only rush the front four
Hmm.
and play coverage. A lot of these teams, I had a friend that pointed this out when we were watching the Redskins game. Why rush a rookie quarterback and make it easier on him to make passes down the field by having less men in coverage? It's the speed of the game that gets to these young guys. Why not have more defenders back? I understand that pressure can force people into making bad decisions, but Minnesota can do that with Robinson and with Allen. They have that under control.
Audie Cole, if he's active. I was bummed out that he wasn't active in the
I gotta admit, that kind of bummed me too.
yeah.
I'm hoping that he doesn't see the chopping block when Simpson comes back.
He won't. He's our secret weapon. I've already got a package devised for Audie Cole.
I've been reading about your your special Audie Cole surprise package.
I think it'd work. We should probably let everyone know. I think he should come in, and if the Jets are allowed to run the Tim Tebow Wildcat, I think that Audie Cole should come in and just take a direct snap and run with the football because you can't stop him. He'd score every single time. No, he would. So
He'd do his best.
direct snap to Audie Cole.
Now, do you think this game being in Indy is going to make it different from being in Minnesota? Do you think that the team was feeding off the crowd, feeding off that? I guess from what I understand, I wasn't there, but that speech that Ziggy Wilf gave to the team, I heard was just heart wrenching and inspiring, and it just fired up the team.
And his
I don't know if you've heard that.
his eyebrows frightened the rookies into winning.
Hey, it's not like his eyebrows will give you nightmares or anything.
Yes, they do. Have you seen them? No, it's going to be it was a big deal that this game was a home game for the Minnesota Vikings. And the hope here is that they will carry over that momentum into this game. But on the flip side, it's going to be a home game for Andrew Luck, and their crowd is going to be really loud, and
Oh yeah.
they're gonna test the Vikings, and hopefully, if we don't make a lot of mistakes, and if we come out and if we play good from the start, I think we can pick up the win.
I think so too. Now remember, this game is at noon Central Time on Sunday, so make sure you tune in and watch it. Join in the discussion with us on Facebook, Twitter, all over the place. We'll be talking about it before, after, during, especially during on Twitter. You're active on Twitter during
Oh,
the game, right, Kyle?
yes, very active on Twitter.
The Facebook, not so much. The Twitter is where you want to be
Yes.
if you want to talk about the game with Kyle. Me, I have to immerse myself in the game. I don't want to sit there with a laptop or my phone. I'm watching.
Oh, I'm a multitasker. I'll do 3 different things at one time. So, do you got any closing rants here for us?
You bet I do.
All right, I got one too. So let's hear what you say.
I am sick and tired of sports media. I can't understand their reasoning here. They've got a great story in this rookie kicker that made these 2 clutch kicks to win the game. They've got a great story in Adrian Peterson coming back, only missing 1 game, rushing for 2 touchdowns, 17 carries. This stuff writes itself, breaking the Minnesota Vikings rushing record, all that stuff. Yet, what do you see on ESPN, the NFL Network, ESPN?
Tebow.
It is. It's the Jets and Tim Tebow. What the heck? I actually sat in front of my TV here. I was watching Sports Center and flipping back and forth, pretty quick. And whenever I saw a Vikings logo, I was gonna stop. I sat there for 45 minutes. Not one mention of the Vikings. You know how many times I heard Tim Tebow's name? 27.
Did you actually count?
I counted.
So if you took a shot every time they said Tim Tebow, you would be passed out
Yeah.
drunk by now.
Yeah, you would not be good, especially since I was watching a little bit of First Take. You know how that goes.
Oh God, yeah.
I was hoping they'd mention Adrian Peterson, but no, because Tim Tebow and the Jets are the story. And the Jets passing, yeah, they scored a lot of points. The passes weren't that good. They weren't that crisp. A lot of them were kind of ducks. I don't get it. I don't understand the love for. I understand that the small media market, Jacksonville and Minnesota, I get that. But every once in a while, you got these stories that come along and they land in your lap, and you can turn them into something big and beautiful and gorgeous, and they didn't do it. They just didn't do it.
Very well said. I actually was watching ESPN this morning and thought the exact same thing you did about all the Tebow coverage that was happening.
It was absolutely sickening.
Here's my final rant. And I am going to say, Vikings fans, we won 3 games last season. We know that we are in rebuilding mode. So, can we please, please, please back off on we need to fire Coach Leslie Frazier for I I did see this on Twitter, people asking numerous people asking, is he going to make it clear through the season after the end of the first, the first quarter? Is he going to make it? Is he going to last? What's going on with this team? How come they're not doing this or doing that? And they need to fire everyone. And it's like, it's a process, people.
It is.
This team, no one expects this team to come out and look like the 98 Vikings offensively. If that's what you think, uh, you're wrong. Okay, you need to lower your expectations a bit, and you need to be more realistic with what this team is going to be. They're going to look bad. Okay, that doesn't mean that Frazier needs to be fired, or the Spielman needs to be fired, or that Jared Allen needs to be traded for 19 first-round draft picks and Terrell
That'd be a good trade.
and Torello. That would be a good trade. If Spielman, if you're listening, if you can get 19 first-round draft picks for Jared Allen,
Pull the trigger.
go ahead and do it. But my point is that this season is all about rebuilding and taking strides forward, and that doesn't necessarily mean that's going to be wins each and every week.
Yeah, fans need to understand their expectations. The Vikings probably are not playoff contenders this year. So they've got to remember that, yeah, this team probably isn't going to win 9, 10 games. But they also have to look at it this way. They want to be better than last year. That's the goal. Be better than the year before.
Mm-hmm.
So even if this team ends up with 4, 5, 6 wins, somewhere in there, it is an improvement. It's better personnel. It's working together to get a team that meshes and can win games. That's what it's all about. It isn't, oh, this coach isn't working right now, so fire him, bring in someone else. We can start this process all over again.
We don't want to be the Cleveland Browns here, people.
Oh, did you see Whedon?
Yeah,
My goodness.
I did.
If Ponder ever has a game like Whedon, I'm going to be on here and I will be tearing Ponder a new house.
Yeah. Well, people, you've got to realize that there's going to be games later on this season that we're going to lose because we are just flat out outmatched by the other team. What we want to look for is see, are we fundamentally sound in our offense, our defense, our special teams? Are we doing the little things right to show improvement? Okay,
Right.
That's what this season is going to be about.
Learning, growing as a team, getting better. That's what it is. And don't be so quick to throw people under the bus.
Unless it's the Green Bay Packers.
Oh man.
Then you can throw them under whatever bus you want to because they lost and Randy Moss scored a touchdown on them.
Yeah, they might have lost, but the 49ers are a great team. Packers just came out kind of flat in the first half, and I don't know,
Wouldn't it be something if we pulled off a win against the 49ers?
I would be very surprised, but I would love it. It's one of those situations.
I had heard some people in the Vikings den posted this, that Minnesota should test them. Everyone says you can't run against them, so a lot of teams don't try. Well, what if Adrian Peterson and Toby Gerhart they just run against them and wear down their defense, and that allows us to win?
You're going to see that even this week against the Colts.
Yeah.
The Vikings will be pounding the ball, and they are not going to change their strategy just because the 49ers are a physical team. You are going to see this smash mouth football. So don't expect Ponder to be throwing the ball 45 to 50 times a game. It's not going to happen. This is a run-first team for now until Christian Ponder can get everything figured out and get things cooking and clicking and all the other things.
Hey, Before we close the show off here, Adam, did you happen to catch Donovan McNabb on the NFL Network this?
Oh my goodness. Yes, I did.
Did you? How hard were you laughing when he was talking about Philip Rivers needing to cut down his interceptions and other quarterbacks needing to be more accurate with their passes? You talk about, oh my gosh! I mean, really?
I was laughing even harder when he was when they were talking about the Vikings and how the Vikings had 3 wins last season, and he said I was a part of that.
Yeah, we know. Don't remind us, Donovan.
I said, yeah, I remember. I definitely do. But that's all I have for this week. Do you have anything more, Kyle?
Nope, that should do it for me too.
I'd like to thank you all for listening. I actually had a really good time this week. I'd like you to go on Facebook, Twitter, talk to us. We're usually there, so drop us a line. We'll try to answer back. And I want you all to remember one thing, and that's to stay classy, Minnesota.